Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show, Confused and Informed. My name is Brad, and today I want to talk to you guys about my all-time favorite cryptocurrency, Quant Network. Not only is this cryptocurrency token my favorite project in the cryptocurrency world, but it's actually my #1 pick in my entire investment portfolio. So I want to talk about that today and let you all know why I'm so excited about this project and why I think it's going to land on the moon very soon. So before we go any further, I want to let you all know that this is not investment or financial advice. I am purely here for your entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, I would like to share my screen with you guys. And I would like to check out Quant with you guys. So let's get going here. We're on CoinMarketCap. We have Quant. It's ranked number 85 right now in the crypto list. Current price is $4.23. A market cap of about 51 million. Circulating supply is just over 12 million tokens, and the total supply is 14.6 million. I really love these statistics just for the fact that they're low. So low token supply is always a great thing. And the company or the team does not hold too many tokens in their possession. They only have 2.5 million tokens or 2.6 million tokens that they can eventually release into the wild. So that's great. Moving forward, we're going to go down here and we're going to check out the chart. If you would have bought this right when it hit the market in the summer of 2018, you probably would have been paying around 24 or 25 cents. Right now, we're sitting at a price of $4.23. So it's had quite the gains since it started 2 years ago. And I think we're just getting started. We're going to go straight over to the website here right now. And we're going to check out Quant, what it does, who the CEO is, what he does. Quant has created a software called Overledger. Now, this is absolutely fascinating when you think of it. And I don't think I've seen any other cryptocurrencies come up with a solution to such a huge problem we face in the markets. What Overledger is essentially is it's a second layer platform. Okay, so just picture a cloud right here above everything, and this connects to different types of enterprises, blockchains, financial institutions, you name it. So think of the software Quant Network's Overledger sitting as a second layer, and it's got spider arms out to all these blockchains. As you can see here in the screen share, you've got Bitcoin, Constellation, Ethereum, IOTA, EOS, Stellar. Those are all public blockchains that connect to the Overledger software platform. And then you have these other permission blockchains, Hyperledger, JPM, Quorium, and Corda. So what happens is those are not investable by people like us, and they are used by enterprises, and they are private blockchains that are already being utilized right now in the current day and age. So what this software Overledger is doing is it's allowing these private chains, these public chains, and it's also allowing different enterprises as well as financial institutions to all connect and settle in real time as fast as their protocol will let them go, and it'll settle in real time and connect everything. So the word we're looking at for this that everybody floats around is called interoperability. And what this means is it means everything is able to interoperate. Now, it's great to have all these different blockchains, but if they can't talk to each other, then there's a problem. So Quant and Overledger essentially acts as the Google translator, if you will. So that's just a quick summary. Of course, there's way more that we can get into with that, but it's pretty technical, and that is not my forte. I just want to show you why I chose this coin and why I love it so much. So the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about the CEO, Gilbert Verdian, all right? This guy has a crazy bio. So the first thing I want to talk about are ISO standards. So what ISO standards do is they pretty much create standardization across a variety of different platforms and industries, like the food industry, the environment, the financial industry, and I'm sure construction industry, and many, many more, okay? So they're pretty well known, and it kind of gives the government and different countries a formula to follow so that it's not the Wild West and people are just making crazy stuff that doesn't work or rips people off, etc., etc. So it's pretty big time. Now, the reason I mention ISO standards is because Gilbert the CEO of Quant Network here, he wrote a standard for blockchain. He actually is the founder of the blockchain ISO standard TC307. So that's pretty amazing that the CEO of this company actually wrote the standard for blockchain. I think there's a few of them. I think I've seen around 3 of them. I can't say for sure, but the fact that he wrote one of those should let you know that this guy's pretty connected and he does know what's going on. All right. Not only that, but he also sits on some crazy boards. I don't know. I think we'll get to that soon, but let's go into his bio here. Okay. So we're just going to go back to 2013. I just want to let you know what this guy's about and judge for yourself if he's qualified or not to do what he's doing. In 2013, he worked for the UK Ministry of Justice. All right. That is a government company. He was the head of security. So that's a pretty important position if you ask me. The year before, I'm assuming that he worked with both of these positions together. He was also the security lead at the UK Ministry of Justice. In 2013 and 2014, it looks like he worked for PwC, Price Waterhouse Cooper, which is a huge firm. And he was the director of cybersecurity there and also the director. Moving on, he worked in government out in Australia for 2014 to 2016. Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, which is pretty heavy duty in itself as well. And then going into March 17th, 2017 to April 2018, he actually worked for the Secure Payments Task Force, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Now, I would say that's pretty exciting and pretty big time to have a guy that is in Australia and London coming over to work with the Federal Reserve on their Secure Payments Task Force. Following that, he worked for this MasterCard company called VocalLink. And he was the Chief Information Security Officer there as well. And that was in July of 2016 to June of 2018, another CISO position. He then worked for the Bank of England under Seymour Cyber. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds pretty heavy duty to me. Lastly, he went back to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York and he worked in the Fed Payments Improvement Community. So when you look at that stuff, you would definitely say that this guy's bio is pretty heavy duty. Now, going a little bit further here, we check out, yes, here we are, his boards and advisor roles. He sits on the board of the European Commission. That's the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum member of Blockchain Policy and Framework Conditions Working Group. All right. So that again sounds pretty insane. Or BSI, he's a chair of digital ledger technology and UK standardization and delegation at ISO TC307. So I don't exactly know what all of this means, but I will tell you it sounds pretty intense, and that is definitely someone I want to be following here in crypto. So leaving that, we're going to go back to the website here and we're going to check out, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go over to Gilbert's Twitter and we're going to check out a couple things on his Twitter. First thing I want to do is show you that just earlier this year, he writes a lot of complicated stuff that I don't really understand. Has to do with banking and transactions and everything to do with his company, Quant and Overledger. So they are very active on Twitter. But here's where I want to get to. On February 3rd, he writes, "It was great to be back at city headquarters in New York and see the progress with DLT and blockchain and FS since our last meetings. 2020 is shaping up to be an exciting year with increasing blockchain adoption and implementation of real-world financial services use cases." Now, this guy's hanging out at Citibank in New York at Citibank headquarters. And then just a few days before, he is at the Federal Reserve. Good to be back at the Boston Fed, where we had many secure payments task force meetings. Great discussion today on our work, digital assets and central bank digital currencies. So he was just there earlier this year before COVID. I have a feeling that he is getting everything lined up and onboarding a lot of people. The reason I say that and the reason I think that he's going over into the US is because last year, and this is what originally caught my eye on Quant, is I saw this news article, Rockefeller Capital MD joins the board of directors of this little yet known crypto project. So I'm sure everybody out there has heard of Rockefeller. We have the managing director, Guy Dietrich, managing director of Rockefeller Capital, join Quant Network's board of directors. So when we're talking about connections here, if you don't agree with me that the Rockefeller kind of controls the banking industry, good, bad, or whatever you believe, they're the ones running the show. And to have this guy sit on the board of this new technology company, to me says, hey, we are on the rocket ship to the moon, and you better get your seat and strap in before we get there. I assume that this guy, and kind of what I've heard through the rumors and just talk in the chats, is that he is helping them branch into the US banking system and help get that going a little more. Obviously, someone that's as connected with the background this guy has, working for the Bank of England, MasterCard, working with the Federal Reserve and government. It's exciting to see like someone like that in crypto. Now, I want to tell you how you make money on Quant, because it is a utility token, and that is kind of difficult and kind of a weird concept for people to grasp if they're not really familiar in cryptocurrencies and utility tokens and what they do. So basically, the way I like to describe a utility token, it's almost like having a computer soldier or a computer employee that works for you. Okay, so if you say the word token, that's your little computer token that lives on the internet in cyberspace, and utility means that that's its work, its functionality. Okay, so when you have one Quant token, you can put that token to work for you. They're opening up something called gateways in July, and when that opens up, you're going to be able to use your utility Quant token to help power transactions on the World Wide Web, which can help make you make money. So these little tokens are almost like little workers for you. They're going to gain in value, and they're also going to be able to be used to gain value. So it's pretty exciting. We're going to talk about Quant's partnerships, and then we will get into how the token actually creates value. So we're going to go down here and we're going to go to our partners. First thing I want you to do is we've got a company here called Simba. And where's the other guy over here? Constellation. Okay, so we have both of these two companies, Simba and Constellation. Now, the reason I point out these two companies is I'm going to click over to another article here. And this article, the headline says, U.S. Air Force partners with Simba Constellation for blockchain solutions. So the U.S. Air Force has struck deals for two blockchain-focused initiatives. Yesterday, it was announced that Simba Chain will be used in a manufacturing traceability project. Today's details of another contract with blockchain firm Constellation were released, this time for data interoperability and security. Simba Chain was founded by DARPA and awarded a grant to the computing department of the University of Notre Dame and Indiana Technology and Manufacturing Companies, ITAMCO. The platform has already been researched by the U.S. Navy in work with ITAMCO and has won multiple awards. So Simba and Constellation, two companies involved in blockchain. Constellation DAG is a token that you can buy as well. I do hold some in Constellation, but not nearly as much as I do in Quant tokens. Simba is a company I do not believe you can invest in. There's no cryptocurrency token for it anyway. But the reason I'm showing you this page is because these are the only two companies I've seen, blockchain-related companies, that are actually partnered with the U.S. Air Force, okay? So that's government partnerships. So the fact that these guys are partners with Quant lets me know that Quant is working with companies that are military and government-focused in the United States. To me, that is huge. It doesn't get better than that. So I'm pretty excited about that partnership. But let's go into some of these other partnerships. UCL, that's a big university. I think they do a lot of technology there. And Quant, I think, came from that university, actually. That's where they studied it and created the code and did what they had to do. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to check out some of the other partners that Quant has. But instead of clicking and waiting to get into all these websites, what I did is I just put a quick, what is this, what is that? So I went through all their partners here and I picked a bunch of them and I want to talk about them quickly. So it says that Quant is partnered right now with the UK Cloud. What the UK Cloud is, here we go. Also trading as UK Cloud Health and UK Cloud X. It is a British cloud provider headquartered in Farnborough, United Kingdom. It provides specialist multi-cloud services to organizations in the UK public sector and regulated industries. Now, all I'm going to tell you there is this is government. So basically they are partnered with UK government, as you can see right there. And I have a feeling, I do not know for sure, that they are transferring information from UK cloud services to other businesses or enterprises or wherever they need to go. So that to me is pretty exciting. Another partner they have is Haw Hamburg. Haw Hamburg is a University of Applied Sciences, higher education and applied research institution located in Hamburg, Germany. So this is another university that specializes in technology type of stuff. They are partnered with them. Another partner they have is Oracle. What is Oracle? Oracle Corporation is an American multinational computer technology corporation headquartered in Redwood Shores, California. The company sells database software and technology, cloud engineered systems, and enterprise software products, particularly its own brands of database management systems. So basically, this is a software technology provider, and they are partnered with Quant. So it would be safe to assume that they are selling Quant as a new hyped up product that is interoperability between blockchains to all their clients. And I'm sure there are no other solutions that are working right now. So it looks like a pretty good sell, if you ask me. Another one of their partners, Amazon Web Services. I think the name says itself. On-demand cloud computing platforms and APIs to individuals, companies, and governments, blah, blah, blah. So that is another great partner. We also have them partnered with the Accord Project. The Accord Project is a nonprofit collaborative initiative developing an ecosystem and open source tools specifically for smart legal contracts. The Accord Project establishes and maintains a universal legal and technical foundation for smart legal contracts in a technical neutral manner. So to me, that says that they are making legal smart contracts and have teamed up with this collaborative Accord Project, which I assume if you want to dig deeper, you'll see that there's probably a bunch of starter companies and legacy companies involved in collaborating for that. Another partner that we have, and this is the big one, this is actually the partnership that made their price spike up and go about 5x or 7x last year in the summer, and it was what really caught my attention is when I saw this news come out. SIA. What is SIA? SIA is a European leader in the design, creation, and management of technology infrastructures and services for financial institutions, central banks, and corporates. So basically, what is SIA? All right. What is SIA? This is huge. These guys are pretty much a European company. They are a service provider for banks, and they have over 570 banks as clients, and some of their clients are big central banks. So what they do is they sell yearly software to their clients. So you would pay on a membership to use their software. In this case, Quant would be the software. And with that membership, you would get access to using Quant's Overledger. You would be able to transport digital assets, cryptocurrencies, central bank digital currencies, and everything through Overledger that SIA, this infrastructure provider, now carries and has partnered with Quant. So to me, that's huge. They're going to be offering all their 570 banks this Quant Overledger software, and that means it's going to get a lot of usage. Now, before we go any further, I kind of want to explain how the utility of this works. As I said, these companies, whether it be SIA or one of the ones I've mentioned before or one of the ones coming up, they pay a service fee, a yearly subscription, I guess you could say, to Quant Network, the company, to use their software Overledger. So let's say, just for example, that they pay $10,000 a year to use the Overledger software so that they can trade digital assets and assets through different blockchains and be able to use that software to connect them all. Now, the way Quant token gains its value is kind of through this, but it's a little weird. So what happens is these companies that are buying the software are not paying in crypto. They have nothing to do with crypto. But what Quant, the company, has is a treasury. Now, when people pay for this licensing or this subscription, Quant takes that $10,000 and locks up Quant tokens, and it uses those tokens as a key for that company to access the software. Now, if you can wrap your head around that, basically I pay a company, Quant, I pay them, let's say $10,000 to use their software. They take my cash, and then for the whole year that I'm subscribed, they use that cash right away to buy the Quant token. They lock that away under my company's premise, and that acts as my key to use the software. Now, there's many more use cases, but to me, this is the main one and the exciting one. So if you only have 12 million tokens circulating right now, and let's say I bought $10,000 worth of subscription, and they converted that into Quant token. And let's say Quant token was $5 right now. So how would you do that math? The treasury of Quant would be $10,000 divided by 5. So 2,000 tokens would be locked up from my company basically itself. So if I paid $10,000 to use their service for a year, and Quant bought those tokens from the open market and locked them up as my service key, I would be taking $2,000 or 2,000 tokens off the market right now. So basically, the more companies and more banks that lock up tokens, the more, or to buy memberships, the more tokens will be locked up for a yearly membership. And as this grows and more companies and more banks and financial institutions and different enterprises start to lock up tokens so that they can get access to this infrastructure and this trading second layer platform that can trade all these different assets and currencies and central bank digital currencies and everything around, the bigger it's going to grow and the crazier it's going to be. Knowing that it deals with companies like Oracle and SIA that have hundreds of companies that they provide software to and memberships to. You know, the fact that there's like thousands of these, and Quant, instead of going after each bank, they went to these big service providers and said, here's what we got, here's our technology, no one else is doing this, there's no extra added blockchains that you have to add into this, we're just a second layer solution that sits over top. This guy follows the law because he wrote the fucking law, so I'm sure that his product follows the law. He wrote it. He wrote the TC 307 ISO standard. Okay, this guy writes that stuff. He's dealing with all these service providers that deal with all these banks and financial institutions. Like, when you do the math, it's just insane. It's insane. So anyway, let's move forward. I don't want to get too excited about that, but that's basically how these tokens get locked up at the end of Q2, is they have something called gateways. So you basically have tokens and you put them online, and you basically act as a transaction verifying hub. So when point A sends to point B, it needs to be verified, and you make money for verifying those transactions. And gateways is going to be another way that this coin gets locked up, which means there's less supply, which means that if there's speculators out there like me or you that want to buy this, because hopefully we can gain some profit on it, there's going to be less available, which in turn is going to make the price go up higher and higher. Let's get back to what we were talking about here. So SIA, this is a huge, huge company. To show you how huge this is, SIA wins bidding to build Canada's new high-value payment system, all right? So Italy's SIA, because this is a European company, has beaten out competition with VocalLink CGI to win the right to build Canada's new core clearing and settlement system. So that's how big this SIA company is. They are doing the entire payment and settlement infrastructure for Canada's payment system. Like all of Canada. That means all the banks connect to this. All right. This is SIA. This is this company. This is the company that's teamed up with Quant. You can look it up. That has 570 banks in Europe. I don't know what else you need me to tell you. but this thing is ridiculous. Okay, let's go back to its partners. I'm only going to go over a couple of more because I could be here all day. And if we really started deep diving into who these partners are, we'd be here forever. So another partner, Alliance Block. Alliance Block is simplifying capital markets by building decentralized finance ecosystem. The ecosystem collapses multiple layers of traditional investment banking in order to streamline issuance, validation, and governance while integrating a unique regulatory and compliance framework. I don't know too much about them. I don't even know what they're really about, to be honest with you, but that's another one of Quant's partners. Mobi, I do know what this company is. Mobi is an open blockchain initiative, nonprofit consortium that's aiming to make mobility safer, greener, cheaper, and more accessible. So this has basically got companies like BMW, Ford, Toyota, and a bunch of crypto companies and startup tech companies all put together so that they can share data with each other and learn how to make driving safer and learn how to get AI into driving and all that kind of stuff. So Quant is part of that consortium as well. Crowds, what is Crowds? It makes accounts receivables a thing of the past with a competitive invoice auction for selling your invoices with invoice financing. So this is basically for businesses that want to get loans and pay them off as they get paid for their jobs. So they're partnered with Crowds. Not a huge partnership, but all these partnerships are just one after the other. Everything is better and better. Interopen is an open collaboration of individuals, industry, standard organizations, and healthcare providers who have agreed to work together to accelerate the development of open standards for interoperability. There's that word again, in the health sector and social care sector. So basically, they're a part of this collaboration to help healthcare. And this stuff spans across many different countries, right? And many different companies that work together. And the great thing about Quant is that it is the interoperability tool. That means when people need to send information back and forth, it is able to connect all these types of systems. And I think that is why it is really sitting in all these projects. Let me get into something else here. AU Cloud. AU Cloud is Australia's sovereign cloud infrastructure as service provider exclusively focused on the Australian government, federal, state, and local, and critical national industry communities. We are sovereign to Australia, meaning we are owned, managed, and operated in Australia. AU Cloud. Quant is hooked up with them too. Quant has worked, Gilbert, the CEO, has worked in government in Australia for a few years. So it just makes sense that he would get stuff going with them. So you have AU Cloud, you have UK Cloud, both government cloud operation services that are teamed up and partnered with Quant. Like you have banking solutions like SIA that provide software hooked up with Quant. You have Oracle, software technology companies that provide software to different companies hooked up with Quant. And another one, a big one here, is AX Trading. This is going to be the first world's electronic trading network, where institutional traders can proactively connect and trade with other counterparties in a secure blah, blah, blah. This is based out of New York. So the reason I say this is interesting is because you've got the world's first electronic trading network in New York, of all places, because they're pretty strict on what they do. You have these guys, this company, AX Trading, being powered by Quant for interoperability. So I don't even think this is live yet. I believe it's coming out sometime this year. But this is basically trading digital assets and using Quant in the United States. So you have these guys connected to SIA, which is European's banking system, who also just won the payment system for Canada. You have the first institutional trading, electronic trading network in New York using these guys. You have the government clouds using these guys. Like you have Rockefeller, the director of Rockefeller, sitting on the board of Quant. You have the US Air Force using blockchains that are partnered with Quant. You have the ISO standards with Quant. I really just don't know what else I can tell you about how great this is. You have a CEO that has just got a nuts bio working with the Federal Reserve, Bank of England, MasterCard, and he wasn't some pleb with these companies, man. This guy's the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. Secure Payments Task Force. Man, this is just nuts. Head of Security, Security Lead, Director Cybersecurity, Director, Chief Information Security Officer. Like, I don't know what else you want from this guy. He's writing laws, he's sitting on blockchain government boards, and he's created Quant Network Token. And when we look at this, to me, it's just going to go through the moon. There's a limited supply of tokens, there's a ton of connections, and I'm hard pressed to find anything that even comes close to this project. So when I tell you it is 50% of my entire portfolio, that's what it is, and it is ready to blast off. They're going to be releasing the dashboard, which will show you transactions by the end of Q2, and also gateways, which I briefly mentioned before, where you can kind of use your tokens to power the network and make more tokens for yourself, so you can kind of make some money on that. So again, this is such a great project, and I'm really, really excited about it. This isn't financial or investment advice by any means, but I do want to tell you, this thing is nuts. And that's all I have to say today for Quant Network. I will definitely be updating this project, maybe with not as long as a video as this one, but I will be talking about it more in the future. Thank you for listening. And if you're interested in any of this kind of stuff, or how you can acquire Quant or any type of different cryptocurrency tokens, you can go to my website, cryptolearn.ca, and check it out. We do have a program on teaching people what crypto is about, how to acquire it, how to store it, and simple stuff like that. We do not give investment advice, but we do let you know how to maneuver in this cryptocurrency world. And the sooner you get in. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you all have a great day, and good luck to Quant and everybody that holds Quant. Let's roll.